All right, 3 minutes gone past the hour of 7 a.m. A very good morning to you and welcome to the Eagles Morning Rise breakfast show right here on Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja, your radio experience you can count on. I'm super excited to be in the studios this morning because, a new day, new opportunities, new energy, new vibe, and of course, anything good that you can think of actually comes, with a new day. And of course, it avails you, another chance, another opportunity to try again. If you really didn't do well, the previous day, here's another opportunity for you to put in your best and perhaps try another leg. I am Omoife Osemere, and of course, I will be riding solo this morning on the Eagles Morning Rise. Yes, the Eagles Morning Rise is your morning booster, if you ask me, and it's actually packed with a lot for your listening pleasure. We're here to inform you and also entertain you, right? Because at this hour, we definitely will be looking at the front pages of Nigerian newspapers, and afterwards you get to call in to share your 2 cents like you always do, and best believe we don't take your contributions for granted. And of course, at the 8 o'clock hour, it will be time for Vicky Vic, the sports minister on radio, to bring you up to speed with the latest happenings in the world of sport. So much is going on in the world of sport at the moment. Well, I wouldn't want to misinform you because some of the sport registers I'm conversant with, so I'll leave that to Vicky Vic, to do justice to. And of course, the final hour of the Eagles Morning Rise breakfast show would be the Eagles Outlook segment, where we discuss national burning issues. And just to give you a heads up that the focus on Eagles Outlook today will be a takeaway or takeaways from your viewpoints. Yes, your viewpoints yesterday during the pages segment with regards to the outcome of the just concluded Ondo State governorship election. So we're going to be assessing, the level of credibility and the integrity of, Nigeria's electoral process. And I will be having, a political analyst and also, public affairs analyst, if you like, join me at that hour or at that time, to discuss this. And also you get to share your 2 cents as well, on this particular subject matter. All of this will be accompanied with the very best of music. But you know what? It does not end there, because at the 10 o'clock hour, the media extra would be coming your way. And yes, welcome on board. Just to give you a heads up as well, if you're new on here, thank you so much. You can visit our website at www.eaglesfm.com. You can download our app on iOS and Play Store. Link with us on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X, and and TikTok, right, at Eagles FM Abuja. And at the moment, we're currently streaming on Facebook and also YouTube, so you can go onto these platforms or apps, check us at Eagles FM Abuja and see what is going on right here in the studios. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give the page very huge, thumbs up. Share our content or our videos. Drop a comment as well. That way we know that you actually, came around or you visited us. Yes. Thank you so much. It's really very, very important. You know how I do it every morning right here. I really won't start the show without, the early morning crusade, which actually entails a lot of things. Yes. From you doing the right thing to also, taking drastic measures, to keep yourself, and your families, your loved ones, safe, especially at this time of the year. Of course, the Harmattan is already setting in, and this is where you need to be very, very observant. It's very important for you to, put off your electrical appliances before leaving your homes or your houses, if you like, because of, how hazy the weather, can actually get at this point in time. And because of, cases of, power surge here and there. So it's good for you to put off, your electrical appliances. Maybe I should not even make a storm in a teacup over that, because when you know how much you're paying for units, right, you definitely will do the right thing. And for those of you who are fond of burning bushes and forests indiscriminately for no reason, please stop that, because it is really very risky, and it's even more risky when you're not there. To monitor or supervise, this fire, because it can actually get uncontrollable by the end of the day, and it could end up destroying infrastructures, properties, and what have you. So it is very, very important for you to be very mindful of things like this. And also, I'd always tell you to say no to open defecation, and you know the good news would be the fact that today is World Toilet Day. Yes, November 19th of every year, we get to commemorate this day, World Toilet Day. So this essential space of ours, at the center of our lives, should be safe and secure. But for billions of people, sanitation is under threat from conflict, climate change, disasters, and neglect. It looks like in this part of the world, our case is a case of neglect, right? Safe toilet for all by 2030 is one of the targets of Sustainable Development Goal 6, SDG 6. But the world is seriously off track. Yes, the world. Now, it's not just Nigeria, all right? It's not just Nigeria. The world is seriously off track. 3.5 billion people still live without safely managed, sanitation, including 419 million who practice open defecation. Nigeria, this is like a tradition for some of us here. Faster action to improve and protect people's access to sanitation is critical to building a fairer and more peaceful world. Here in Nigeria, it is no longer news that we have public toilets, across, the country. All you have to do is to pay a little token, shikini money. Shikini money is all you have to pay. It could be 100 naira or 150 naira. But come to think of it, if you had to pay 200 naira, is that too much? Would I be asking for too much? Because people are also there cleaning up toilets, and you know that personal hygiene is actually keen, and they say that cleanliness is next to godliness, whereas you're on the street defecating openly, urinating is come to think of it, it makes no sense. So today is actually World Toilet Day, whilst we call on relevant stakeholders, right, to ensure a very, very how would I put it now, apt sensitization and awareness creation. It's also important for you as a citizen of this country to do your bit as well, because it does not stop on the desk of the government at all levels, right? You also have a role to play. Yes, the toilets that you have at home, how clean are they? How often do you even wash them? Is it important for you to wash those toilets? Well, some people will say that it's only the female gender that are really concerned about, the cleanliness of, a toilet. But come on, even guys, the male gender, they are also, prone to diseases and infections. So please, cleanliness is actually something for all. It's not something for the female gender alone. So please, it actually demands or it entails collective responsibility from all of us, myself, yourself, and every one of us. So if you're fond of defecating openly because you don't have a toilet, please, it's better you just access a public toilet. They are almost everywhere. In Abuja, for example, if you go to these markets, right, you're definitely going to find public toilets there. Filling stations, they have toilets there. I don't think you even have to pay to use like in the filling station, right? Eateries, they have toilets there. Banks, offices, and even schools. But come on, for public schools, I recall very clearly growing up that back then some of us were fond of, not me, I'm not saying me, but I'm just saying some of us they were fond of going to any bush they just see, they just go there and do their thing. There's a name they call it. They call it short put. Yes, that's what they call it, short put. They just go there, they do the short put, and they just do their thing and act and pretend as though nothing has even happened. It's really very risky because there are snakes in the bush, so you have to be very careful before you do your thing. So the point I'm trying to make now is this should be a wake-up call as well to to the government at all levels, right, to ensure that public schools have toilets, not just toilets that are very clean, with modern facility. I mean, let me just generalize it. Modern toilets are what we need in our public schools. It's very, very important. Not just because the girl child needs, this toilet, to do certain things in terms of, sanitary care or needs and what have you, but it's very important. How do you even feel that you're walking the street and then you are perceiving the smell of somebody's abuna? Come on. It makes no sense. In a nutshell, say no to open defecation. Say no to open defecation, and also to people stakeholders. When I say relevant stakeholders now, I'm talking to the bosses, I'm talking to the government at all levels, I'm talking to, our clergymen, I'm talking to the traditional rulers, and what have you. Take our time today to sensitize people, create awareness, enlighten them, educate them on the dangers of open defecation. Yes, it is very important. And also to the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation. This is a wake-up call for intensified national commitment and a call to action, to monitor and also ensure that state government and the relevant stakeholders again, including civil society organizations now, they work towards, making Nigeria open defecation free. 2024 is almost coming to an end. Not just 2025 now, maybe before the end of this year. It's very important. Yes, we can actually achieve that. Go all out. The way we talk about it here, you have a role to play out there. Again, say no to one-way driving, avoid overspeeding. It's very important for you to know that speed actually thrills, but it kills. So say no to one-way driving and also say no to overspeeding. Stop beating traffic. It makes no sense. For the sake of your own life, for your own safety, and because I need you to be alive. Because if you're not out there, I definitely will be jobless because I can't be here talking to myself. All right. So please stay safe. It's very, very important. What else am I actually missing out right now? All right. Take 2 minutes or 3 of your time today to tell someone about the essence of unity, the essence of love, and why we need to stay together, because united we stand, divided we fall. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the early morning crusade. Let me quickly bring you up to speed on 10 things you need to know for today. Today is Tuesday, as a matter of fact, the 19th day in the month of November 2024. Now, for the second time in 24 hours, the presidency has fired back at former President Olusegun Obasanjo over his recent criticism of President Bola Tinubu's government. Bayo Onanuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy, urged Nigerians not to take Obasanjo seriously, saying he's not a good leader to emulate. All right, very typical of politicians, one would say. At number 2, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, says the Green Chamber is yet to take a stand on the tax reform bills. He stated this in his opening remarks at the interactive session on tax reform bills being held at the National Assembly on Monday. Yes. And at number 3, the chairman, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, says no mega financial fraud, especially illicit financial flows, is possible without lawyers' support. This speaks volumes now. Olukoyede stated this during the opening of the 6th Annual Criminal Law Review Conference in Abuja. And also, the Naira on Monday appreciated to 1,735 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,740 Naira last weekend. However, the Naira depreciated to 1,690 Naira per dollar in the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM. Well, the 5th thing you need to know this morning will be the fact that the chairman of the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, NOGASA, Fatuyi Yemi Phillips, has been sentenced to 21 years imprisonment by Justice Mojísọ́lá Dada of the Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja, Lagos, for 43.5 million Naira fraud. And some of you would argue that we're not making progress in the fight against corruption. Come on. At number 6, the People's Democratic Party candidate in the 2023 election in Ogun State, Ladi Adebutu, has been arrested by the Department of State Services, DSS. Now, the arrest may be connected to an incident that occurred in the Ikberu area of Ogun State on Saturday, during which Adebutu was alleged to have mobilized thugs and illegal police operatives to disrupt the local government elections across the local government area. At number 7, the Anambra State Police Command said it had begun a manhunt for the yet-to-be-identified assailant who killed 5 persons when they attacked 2 communities in the early hours on Monday. It was gathered that the armed hoodlums operating in an unregistered Lexus SUV and Honda FJ Cruiser also injured several others. Moving on to number 8, where the Nigeria police in Abia has begun an investigation into the killing of an officer by some gunmen on Sunday night at Ubakala near Umuahia, the Abia state capital, even as the state government has vowed that promoters of violence and insecurity in the state will pay a heavy price. This came barely 4 days after 3 soldiers were killed or gunned down at Ekenobizi in Umuahia South local government area of the state. Now, Governor Hyacinth Alia of Benue State has approved a minimum wage of 75,000 naira for workers in the state. And according to his chief press secretary, Terso Kula, the governor announced this on Monday at the state secretariat after a meeting with representatives of organized labor. Maybe we should ring the bell to that. Because, I mean, that state has a history of, unpaid salaries, but let me leave it there so it won't look like I'm trying to blow things out of proportion. The last thing you need to know for this morning will be the fact that Nigeria ended their Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers with shocking 2-1 defeat to Rwanda on Monday at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. Now, the underdog Rwandan side staged a remarkable comeback to claim the victory. So I told you earlier that a lot is on in the world of sport, but you can trust Vicky Vic to share the tea with you. So I'll leave it there this morning on 10 things you need to know for today. So that being said, let's quickly take a look at the front pages of Nigerian newspapers. Well, I will be starting off with the Nigerian Tribune. And on the front page, the big news story there says Adeleke, Oyo PDP knock Ganduje over APC's plot to take over Oyo and Osun State. Now, to read that one, the first one says Ganduje is suffering from verbal diarrhea, Osun government talking there, and the second writer says nobody prays for APC's pain beyond 2027. Now, that statement is credited to Oyo State PDP chapter. You'll find that story on pages 16 and 28. You see why I said earlier that it is quite typical of politicians, to throw banters at each other, and somehow they say these things without mincing their words, like the choice of words. Still on page 26, or when you head on to page 26, Air Force destroys bandits kingpins residence, arms depot in Shiroro. And moving on to page 3, Council of Yoruba Elders felicitates Tribune at 75. On page 4, I have replaced Ajuri Ngelali as presidential spokesman. Boala talking there. And then when you move on to, or still on page 4, 34 states, FCT yet to access 2024 UBE matching grant. And this statement is credited to UBEC, that's the Universal Basic Education Commission. And on page 5, President slams Obasanjo for criticizing Tinubu. 2 writers underneath that story. The first one says, successive governments still clearing your mess, it says. And then $16 billion wasted on projects that failed to provide electricity. All right, all of that on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. Panel sheds more light on tax reform bill. A rider underneath it says proposes 0% VAT on food, education, and healthcare. You find that on page 5. And moving on to page 26, 5 dead as sit at home turns bloody in Anambra. I thought we've gone past this era of sit at home, but a right underneath it says police after suspected gunman. You find that on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. That would be it for the Nigerian newspaper. Now the Nation newspaper is up next, and somehow it is comparing notes, with the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, because the big news story here says presidency, Obasanjo unfit to give leadership sermon. A writer underneath it says ex-president's description of Nigeria as failing government incompetent attracts attack. Details on the front page, and it continues on page 2. Just above that one, Edun, Tinubu's economic reforms have cleared way for foreign investors. All right, that's on page 7. And then federal government targets 34.8 trillion naira revenue in 2025 appropriation bill. Details on the front page, and it continues on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Don't do estimated billing. NERC warns Discos. Don't do estimated billing. NERC warns Discos. These details on page 5. And moving on to page 29, Okpebholo signs a revised 486 billion naira budget. Oba of Benin hopeful. Details on page 29 right there. And then Zenith Bank Tech Fair 4.0 to feature global IT practitioners. That's on page 7. And then on page 29, DSS quizzes Adebutu over Ogun Council disruption. All right. Details of our story on page 29, and this one here says reform bills will streamline taxes. Two riders underneath it. Nigeria behind smaller countries in revenue collection, and the second rider says interactive session in-house. This is on the front page. It continues on page 4. And Aliyah okays 75,000 naira minimum wage for Benway workers. You find that on page 5. And then when you head on to page 31, Lukman in Africa's top 5. I'll leave it there this morning for the Nation newspaper. Now let's take a quick look at the Daily Trust newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, the big news story there says Northern reps raise fresh concerns over tax reform bills. 3 riders underneath it. The first one says region plagued by insecurity and low productivity. The second one says it is unfair for Lagos, Rivers, FCT to have 70% VAT proceeds. FIRS boss talking there. And the last rider says we will be guided by national interest. Now that statement is credited to Dogua, and you find all of that on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And this one here says you are a hypocrite. President fires back Obasanjo. Details on page 3. And then fire destroys a Jos Laranto market. You find that on page 24. NERC to discos replace old meters at no cost. You find that on page 27. And then when you head on to page 39, Trump to use military for mass deportation. Just above the big news story on the front page, G20 leaders inaugurate global alliance to end hunger. You find that on page 6. And when you head on to page 5, Auditor General uncovers 3.4 trillion naira fraud in MDAs. Moving on to page 6, it says a court quashes NBC's fine against Trust TV, limits commission's power. All right, that will be it this morning for the Daily Trust newspaper. Do well to grab a copy to get concrete details. The Guardian newspaper now is leading with 18 million out of school children as the kicker. 34 states ditch UBE grant as unused funds surpass 135 billion naira. There is a breakdown right there on the front page, but you find details of our story on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then IMF as the kicker. Nigeria, others need longer monetary tightening regime to tame inflation. Details on page 23. Still on page 23, chemical industry says 28 companies exited since January. What does that portend for the nation's economy? But that's on page 23, and that's business news. And then moving on to page 7, presidency berates Obasanjo for criticizing successors. All right, on page 8, Rivers Council boss predicts tough battle for Fubara ahead of 2027 elections. And then on page 6, FIRS boss makes case for tax bills as federal government calms governors on reform. Details on page 6. And then on page 5 says Senate to sanction MDAs for non-compliance with financial regulations. When you move on to page 3, this one says Ayedatiwa's financial strength earned him victory in Ondo. All right, it's been views and counter views trailing the outcome of the Ondo State governorship election. I'll leave it there this morning for the Guardian newspaper. Now let's take a look at the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper is leading quite differently this morning because the big news story here says LCCI, Asbon, analysts, others pick holes in 2025 budget. 2 riders underneath it. The first one says it will take magic wand to succeed. That is coming from Asbon. And then the second rider says funding will be a challenge. Financial analyst talking there. Details on page 5. of the Vanguard newspaper. And then this one here says, Presidency to Obasanjo, Nigeria's economic woes began in your government. Details on page 9. And this one here says, I am a presidential spokesman, Daniel Bwala talking there. Details on page 26. And this one here says, Dangote refinery $6 billion to import crude. You find that on page 13. Moving on to page 11. Sit at home, that is the kicker. Gunmen kill 5 security operatives. PG critically injured in Anambra and Abia. Moving on to page 8. Nigeria must address 6% tax to GDP ratio. Speaker Abbas talking there. Rethink reform strategies. IMF advises Nigeria, Ghana, others. Details on page 19. And then Ondo Guber as the kicker. Why PDP lost and also recorded worst outing since 1999. You'll find that on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. WW3 looms, that's World War III, looms as Russia vows response if Ukraine uses long-range missile. Details on page 8. And this sports story here on page 29 says 2025 AFCON qualifiers as the kicker. Rwanda beats Super Eagles in Uyo. All right. I think that will just be it for the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And the last one will be the Punch newspaper. And it says corruption allegations. Presidency attacks Obasanjo as opposition backs ex-president. Right underneath it says federal government says Obasanjo lacks moral ground to attack Tinubu. Opposition insists ex-leader right on corruption and bad governance. All right. Okay. Details on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Federal government plans fresh 31 trillion naira borrowing. Details on page 35. On page 36, luggage delay to attract $170 at 10,000 naira fines. NCAA talking there. And then on page 12, default 34 states, FCT shun 263 billion naira UBEC grants. Senate invites top doctors over strike. You find that on page 16. And then Ondo poll, Ayedatiwa gets certificate of return on Wednesday amid protest. You find that on page 16. Trump plans to use military for mass deportation. Details on page 16 as well. And still staying with page 16, a planned takeover. Makinde, Adeleke knock Ganduje over threat. That's just about the size of the headlines I will be taking across the national newspapers or national dailies this morning. So do well to grab a copy to get concrete details of these, headlines, and of course more stories that would definitely, catch your fancy across, the national dailies for today. This is where you get to call in, to share your thoughts with us on what is trending across the national dailies for today. The numbers to call are 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. You can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal on 090-9705-4450. Remember the rules. You must stay civil, avoid the use of vulgar or obscene language. Yes, and maintain 2 minutes, right? Or even less. Yes, so we can accommodate diverse, views on this segment this morning. Do not also forget to turn down the volume of your radio set so we can hear ourselves clearly. All right, let's hear from you. What are your thoughts? What do you make of these, blazing headlines for today? I know one would say that I'm fond of using the word blazing, but come on. These headlines are actually blazing this morning, if you ask me. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
My friend, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Dr. Prince. I call the line, calling from Karimo. Hi, sir, My Excellency.
He is fine. He's fine. He'll be here tomorrow, okay. All things being equal.
Okay. Extend my profile greeting to you.
Thank you.
Staff of radio, this Ego Radio.
Thank you.
House. May God be with you and protect you. Anyway, what I'm just trying to say is that I'm worried about millions of people, children that are out of school. They say that education is hard to train on someone's mind, industrially, socially, politically, economically, technologically, and otherwise. anybody is, in default of education, in fact, the person is done for. In fact, because education is semi to life. Any meaningful man or family who does not want his or her own, family, children to be educated, it means that, something is wrong somewhere. Something is wrong somewhere. In fact, I'm begging the federal government, the people in the peripheral of authority or people in the echelon political position, they should do the needful.
All right.
Please, things are very hard. Please, I'm begging them. This issue of education is very, very important because somebody who is educated means somebody is being enlightened, is being liberated from the shackleness of intimidation, manipulation, and also agony. According to late Dr. Nelson Mandela, they say that education is the greatest weapon that anyone can use in order to change his environment. You can use education to change, your radio environment as you're making us to be happy every day. Every day, like myself, I love to listen to this radio house. If not you or the other man there, my excellency, in a person of Uduak, it makes me to be happy, to forget my sorrow, forget what you are passing through in Nigeria. Wow. It is high point of education in which you people are highly educated. Likewise, other people. Please, education is one thing that's supposed to be given, highest attention.
All right, Dr. Prince,
because I wasn't.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning to you.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Apostle Osola from Apo. Thank you for a good update you are giving to us. So, my first and foremost, kudos to our army that are promising us that a time will come that these bandits and all those bad boys will be over. But many times when we heard of this, before those bad boys will strike again. How I wish they will just not be telling us the effort they are making, but let them continue tackling the issue. It will go a long way. And another thing is that if our INEC, whether they will go for recruitment to United States, let them teach them how to conduct the election, so that after election there will never be a litigation here and there, fighting and quarreling, buying vote or whatever. And the government of the day should not be appointing INEC chief. That the masses will vote for the person that will be an INEC chairman.
Really?
That's my own thing.
All right.
Thank you and God bless you. My name is
yes, I want to encourage you to join us at 9 a.m. this morning because we're going to be assessing the integrity and credibility of our electoral process in Nigeria. So do well to join us at that time.
I will do that.
All right,
I will do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. All right. Hello. Good morning to you.
Hello. Good morning, my sister.
Yes,
this
good
is
morning.
King Kennedy.
All right, King Kennedy. From where?
I'm calling from Cairo this morning.
All right. Good to have you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think it's high time. There was a time you used the word vulgar languages, when we should be civil. I think it's high time our leaders give us reasons to be civil. This time we want to comment on, on their leadership.
All right.
Imagine the present government telling Obasanjo, who, by all means, some of us, during the time he led country, at least we were little, but we still have a little sense. How much of petrol when it was Obasanjo's regime? How much was a bag of rice when Obasanjo was on throne? So they are telling us that corruption started during Obasanjo or hardship started then. If hardship, should it continue? Thank you. I'll stop at this point. God bless everybody in Nigeria.
All right, King Kennedy, thank you so much. Thank you so much, for that, contribution right there. As much as we urge you, to stay civil, it's also important for our politicians, our leaders, to also be civil, especially when they're engaging, their political opponents. Because, come on, the choice of words, I'll leave it there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning, Her Royal Highness on radio. My name is You and D. I'm calling right here in Asokoro.
You and D, it's been a while. It's been a while, but good to have you. Yes, please go ahead.
I've been trying, the family is getting too big.
All right.
So sometimes we call in will be difficult.
All
But
right.
thank God I got it today, and to be frank, today is my birthday. Every 19th of November is my birthday, so I'm very happy.
So let me ring the bell
And
for
I would like
that.
to use this medium to thank you very much.
Happy
I
birthday.
would like to use this medium to greet Eagle FM 102.3, the radio experience you can count on,
Absolutely.
and greet the good people of Nigeria.
Right.
Yeah, thank you. What I want to talk about is about the what the federal government is still doing. Our former president Obasanjo, General Obasanjo. If you watch 1999, he took over. I was in Eagle Square on 1999 when Abdul Salam handed over to Obasanjo. I was in the secondary school then, but our school in Kaduna was the best in art and culture. So they joined us with the art and culture Kaduna branch. So I was opportune to be there. So what I'm trying to say is that in the regime of Obasanjo, what is supergating? How much is Gary? How much is fuel compared to now? So this man is a good man. He did well. And even our debt was even cleared after leaving office. If I'm not mistaken, you can check it, my sister. 1%. Hello?
Yes, I'm with you, UND.
So what I'm trying to say is that they should just buy in some policies that Mr. President, our former president, did. You know, he even brought indigenous people across the globe, that the diaspora. They came as investors. They did well. How much is machine? This machine, how much then? We bought new brown ones.
Well, let me ask you
Then
this.
and compared to now.
UND, are you trying to say that during the former president Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, the cost of living wasn't high? Are you also trying to say that?
Yes, it was very good, man. It was very good. Everybody can testify. So, thank you and God bless us. I know what I'm trying to say.
All
they
right.
should leave Mr. President to be. No matter, nobody is perfect.
Okay.
Nobody is perfect. He has his own lapses,
All
but
right.
he's very lucky.
All right, UND.
So thank you and God bless you. Thank you. That's my
Thank
take.
you.
My take.
Thank you very much, UND, for your line of thought. Right there, we're due for a commercial break now, and we'll just go pay these bills. We'll be back in a moment, and best believe the studio lines will still be open for you to call in to share your thoughts. Do join us again.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
Wow, this feature phone is so good.
Which phone is that?
It is the itel IT5627. It comes with a 2500 mAh battery, which gives you 55 hours of standby use. Type-C charger, triple SIM slot, 3.0-inch screen, plus the 24 months warranty of worry-free use.
Huh? 24 months warranty?
Yes, go and get yours. itel IT5627. New itel, new experience.
Hello, everyone. This is a special invitation to tune in to Eagles 102.3 FM for the Safe Spare Connect program with Town Planner Ibrahim MT, the safety doctor. If you are looking for more information and guidance on the morality of life, health, safety, security, and the environment, then this is the show for you. Join us every Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. for an hour of insightful discussions, expert interviews, and engaging segments that will keep you informed and safe. Don't miss out. Mark your calendars and make sure to tune in to Eagles 102.3 FM. Stay safe, stay informed, and connect with Safe Spare Connect.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
And we are back. Thank you so much for staying with us. If you are just joining us, this is the Eagles Morning Rise Breakfast Show. And this segment specifically is the pages where we review the front pages, or the headlines, on the front pages of Nigerian newspaper, and also get, your reaction. And would like you to know that you can watch us live on YouTube and Facebook at Eagles FM Abuja. Download our app on iOS and Play Store, and also visit visit our website at www.eaglesfm.com. The numbers to call this morning to be part of the show is 090, or the numbers are 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. You can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal on 090-9705-4450. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, are you there? Good morning. Hello. All right, please do well to call back because I can't even hear you. All right, let's head on now to the WhatsApp portal, to take some of the messages that we have on here. Okay. All right, Alhaji Gafaru from Ijedodo, Lagos says former President Obasanjo criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration. Obasanjo should know that he laid the foundation, for Nigerian problems, selling government property to his vice Atiku. Oh, okay. Retraction of civil servants, introduction of pension schemes which destroyed the civil service. Really? Obasanjo should apologize to Nigerians, for all the reforms he introduced when he was in power. A Delta boy resident in Ghana who wants to use her mother for ritual is too common. Please, if you have... All right. I'll just leave it there. Alhaji Gafaru, Ijedodo, Lagos. Thank you so much for that message. But I think there are a number of claims right here that we really cannot, substantiate at the moment. So I'm not just going to dwell too much on that. Samuel from Kuje says, a fine and wonderful morning to you, Amoefe. Good morning to you too, Samuel. Please, the politicians should face the business of governance, which is why they are in the various offices they are occupying, and stop disturbing our ears with their uncomplimentary words. The throwing of words like stones against each other is not why they were elected, but to deliver the dividends of democracy by making sure that our roads are safe for us to travel, equip our hospitals for doctors to do their jobs, make our schools a place of academic excellence, chase away the terrorists from our farms and communities, make fuel available, bring policy that will put food on the masses' table. Anything short of these things shows that they are not fit to govern. I rest my case. May God make it easy for us in this country. In Jesus' name, have a great and wonderful day, Omoife. Samuel, you too. Thank you so much for that message. And Jacob John says, I'm not surprised at the attack on ex-president eligibility to speak. What ex will the worst say about the bad? What ex will the worst say about the bad? Well, I don't know what that means, but it says Obasanjo is still the best. All right, Jacob John, thank you so much for that message. All right, I think this particular headline is going to, continue, to spark. It's going to continue to spark, views and counter views, because it looks like people are already divided, along political lines, and somehow even the Afenefere yesterday, they even tongue lashed the president for even saying that this present administration is not doing enough, and they also said that Tinubu's administration already outperformed Obasanjo's administration. So this one is not even about regional or tribal sentiment now, but it's about competence, right? So I'll just quickly go back to the voice calls now. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Martha.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Praise.
All right.
And I'm calling from Area 11.
Good to have you, Praise. Please go ahead.
Thank you. See, I just want to add my voice to what this comparison between Obasanjo and the current president. Now, today, we are all saying that Obasanjo was better, the system was okay, and others. But don't forget that, remind us that during the time of Obasanjo, the nation, the country went on strike more than twice. You remember? When fuel was increased from 13 or so to 22 naira, the labor union led by Adams Oshomole went on strike. Now, if that system was cheap, if everything was okay, why would they go on strike for just 22 naira? I remember I used to pay 20 naira from Apo Bridge to Abacha Barrack. Then I was in Abacha Barrack, school in Abacha Barrack. So I paid 20 naira from Apo Bridge to Abacha Barrack. But when the fuel was increased, we started paying 50 naira from Apo Bridge to Abacha Barrack. And it was so expensive that people were complaining. We could not even afford the 50 naira. So we had to trek. I remember trekking from Apo Bridge to Abacha Barrack.
Are you there?
The reason is just because we have something to compare. There is no time in this country where things were cheap, where life was simple, where everything was okay. There is no time. Tomorrow, now, God forbid, we'll have another system, another president, where we'll now be looking at Tinubu as angel, as a system or as a government that did very well. You understand? So as much as let us just give them their dues and say, okay, let this one just continue. You understand what I mean? Rather than just condemn it totally and say this one was better. No, there is no time like that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your line of thought right there. All right. 090-8766-8888 or 090-7353-0044. You can send a voice note or a message to the WhatsApp portal on 0909-705-4450. Let's hear from you this morning what your thoughts are. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Eagles FM.
Good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, my name is Prince Emeka calling from Jadi.
All right, Prince Emeka, please go ahead.
Good. You see, it's very, very unfortunate that sometimes we Nigerians get carried away by sentiment. Our former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo saying that Nigeria is failing. He is not wrong. He is not wrong. Let us look at, okay, why is today in Nigeria almost every youth want to run away? Is that not signs of failure? Today in Nigeria, people cannot even afford to eat 3 times. Food, though, basic food. I'm not talking of luxury, going to 5-star hotel to eat. Luxury, basic food. How much is a loaf of bread today? How much is petrol today? So these are the indicators of failure. That's what they are. Things are so bad that people cannot even eat food. Basic necessities are now luxury in Nigeria. Since this present government came, that is the truth. Let us not mince words about it. The fact is this present government is not doing well. So what they need to do is to go back to the drawing table. Even if they cannot move us forward, let them take us back to where they met the country. They met it somewhere now. They are in DC. They met the country somewhere. We know how much petrol was. We know how much the dollar was. We know how much bread was. We know how much gas was. We know all these things. So let them even take it back to where they is. You see, when you experience this government, we'll now begin to think praises that Buhari was good, or rather was good. Meanwhile, we know it was not. The government also was not good enough. And the man is claiming he's continuing the good work. Which good work? Bringing poverty on the people, suffering the people, bringing pain on the people. Is that good work? It's very unfortunate that even the people themselves cannot unite against the government itself. Because what is governance? Government is for the good of the people. It is not for the good of a selected few. So what the people ought to be doing at this time is we should also now unite and tell the government what we want. We should not all just keep quiet. Exactly.
All right, Prince Emeka. Thank you. You too. Thank you very much for calling. All right. I'll just head on to the WhatsApp portal now. Abbas has sent another message. It says, on OBJ, some of our callers are making a comparison with afterthought analysis. As cheap as a bag of rice, then one can hardly afford half bag. We only eat rice on Sundays and possibly during occasions. So there was nothing special about Obasanjo's administration. Obasanjo was the one who started subsidy payment. That has brought Nigeria's economy rather to a mess. We're struggling today. Abbas reporting again. All right, I think we've now reduced, this particular segment of the show, to the what's it called, the blame games, between the present administration and of course the former President Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, but somehow they caught for it. Turkin Bihundu says, good morning, if keep up the good work. I'm listening from Nasarawa State. Obasanjo, former president, is no doubt a great leader compared to Tinubu. Obasanjo may be bad, but Tinubu is okay. That's your opinion, Turkey Buhundu. This one, Comrade Ulo Basi from Buhari Abuja says, Good morning, Lady Omoife. Good morning to you, sir. He says to compare the government of former President Olusegun Obasanjo with the present administration is like comparing light and darkness. Really? Though the administration had its own share of weakness and ineptitude, Obasanjo's administration was better than the one of today. May God save us from ourselves. Amen. All right, thank you, Comrade Ulobasi from Buari, Abuja. Thank you so much for that one. At this juncture, I think I'll take one more call, then, just proceed with the voice notes that we have on the WhatsApp portal. Hello, good morning to you. All right. So, I think, okay, let's take this one. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Omife.
Good morning. What's your name and where you're calling from?
My name is John from Suleja.
All right, John from Suleja. Good to have you. Please go ahead.
Thank you. The matters arise in Obasanjo and the present president. Yes, I have to join. Yesterday we talked about it, and today it has resurfaced again. See, what is the need of Obasanjo, this government to begin to spend their time attacking Obasanjo? Take the message and leave the messenger. No matter how bad it is. He asks you that this is where you will go wrong and all that. Even if that man made mistake, it's just like football. As Vic,
Yeah.
the sportsman. Even when it's in football, you can play the game. When you're on the field, you are missing some areas. When you come back, you stay outside and watch the video, how you make mistakes. And you say, this man, I made it in this area. You can correct it when you go in there. You don't know how to build this thing. You just, because you have done a mistake, so others can continue where you stop. Is that how to go about the essence of life, administration? If that man had made mistake, I agree, he had made mistake some areas. Was he make the same mistake? When you say, I'm going to do better than whatever. If you cannot do better than what Obasanjo, then you are a failure now. Is it not what it is? You do better than him. So that everybody say, oh, during your time you did better. But as of now, you have not done better than the man, as far as I'm concerned. So we let them waste their time criticizing. That's how they begin to blame Goodluck Jonathan during the Buhari regime. Goodluck do this, Goodluck do that until 8 years. They did not achieve anything.
All right.
Let them continue. That is their propaganda is a part of their life.
Let's leave
that
it
is what
here.
they know.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your line of thought. It appears the blame game, continues. But let's take the voice notes that we have on the WhatsApp portal this morning.
Good morning, Igwes FM. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Omoife.
Good morning.
How about Mr. Dan? I hope he's fine. Daniel from Korodu.
Right.
Honestly, I want to thank Igwes FM for giving us opportunity to air our views and also to hold leaders accountable. Presidency criticizing Obasanjo, I don't think it's a welcome development. The former president is just stating the truth. There is economic hardship in the land. Things are not working. We should just tell ourselves the truth. Unless you are benefiting from this government, even if you are benefiting from this government as an adult, judge your conscience. Is this the Nigeria that we hope for? The coming of this present administration gave a lot of people hope, knowing who the president is, knowing what he did in Lagos. Me particularly, I was very hopeful that this present administration will be better than the previous administration. But the reverse is the case. The indices are all there. The price of goods and services are there. Transportation are there. Agriculture are there. Insecurity are there. Starvation are there. We are adult and we are human. We are seeing it. I believe and I want this present administration to take heed and to listen to criticism so that they can work better. Thank you and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And of course, Udwak is actually fine. You definitely would hear from him tomorrow, bright and early.
Hello, how are you? My name is GB. The presidency has rightly replied to Obasanjo that he stop condemning, criticizing every government that comes to power. According to him, his government is the only one that have done wonderfully in Nigeria. Every other government, right from the time of Shagari, he condemned every government that come after him. But I want to ask Obasanjo, what did he do to Nigeria we can point to today as an infrastructure? He spent $16 billion on electricity, and when he was leaving, what he really give was about 3,500 megawatts. He said he left $75 billion in his account when he was leaving. If you use that money for road project, use that money for power, use that money for education, use that money to get train running all over Nigeria, modern electric train running over Nigeria will not be here today. People are asking that how much was Gary and Pepe when Obasanjo was there. This is the problem we have. People judge the government, the government of the government by the how much Gary and Pepe. They never about infrastructure, they never about road and power, but they never ask about education when they were there. And that's the problem we're having. We can't say government just because you are buying Gary and buying Pepe at also amount. It's the infrastructure is what brings development, not the amount they sell Gary, amount they sell rice that they were imported at that time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, GB. And let's take a listen to this one.
Good morning, Omefe. This is Salami from Mapu Legislative Quarters. On Sunday, Darius response, the SA media to the president response to Obasanjo comments, Vetro leaks and denigration of the country and its president. I think we shouldn't take Obasanjo serious. It's the news that we should take serious. Looking at his record as the worst democratically elected president we've ever had, he conducted the worst election. Nobody will ever forget about Professor Morris Iwu, the former INEC chairman under Obasanjo, and the kind of election he was conducting. Have you also forgotten the $16 billion power project, and which he used in generating darkness for us as a country? Are we talking about how he became an emperor sitting in Nassau Rock, and any governor that refused to do his bidding, he sponsored the House of Assembly member to impeach them with the minority? He did it in Ekiti State, where he used 3 members to impeach Ayo Fayose by 4 a.m. in the morning. He did the same thing in Oyo State, where he impeached Ladoja. Did it in Anambra, where he impeached Peter Obi. Did it in Plateau State. This is the president that I want to take serious. This is the president that have the moral ground to talk about, what is happening in the country today. Are we talking about his desperation, where he legalized corruption in the National Assembly, where he was doling out Ghana must go to them to give him a third term? His history are what documented. We shouldn't take him serious. Thank you so much.
All right. Alamin, thank you so much for your contribution right there. Again, all of these are your opinions. And someone here says, I beg Omoife, who's comparing Obasanjo's government and this clueless administration we have today? Akamata from Federal Housing Authority, Lugbe. All right. Very strong words there. It's a hard job to defend this government because nothing to show for. There's nothing to show for or show for it or to show. Chinonso from Suleja. All right. Okay. It's actually been a conversation about the former President Olusegun Obasanjo and the present administration on the Pages segment of the Eagles Morning Rise this morning. And whilst we want to thank you for your views, and counter views, it's also okay to state that these views, were not influenced by Eagles FM 102.3 Abuja. That'll be it for the Pages this morning. Thank you so much for keeping us company. I'll be back at 9 a.m. this morning to assess the integrity and credibility of our electoral process, and I encourage you to join us at that time. In the meantime, Vicky Vic is right here in the studios giving me this daredevil look, to get my butt off the chair ASAP. And I'm just, about to do that. Thank you so much for listening, and don't touch the dial. Good morning.